Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. What's it going to take to get them going? What have you been seeing, Bo Brock? Because again, like you watched last night, and I was reminded last night, during draft season, we did a lot of comps for Marvin Harrison Jr., right? And I think the most frequent were probably like AJ Green, Mike Evans, with maybe a little Julio Jones. But he always had a comp to me of Jamar Chase, not necessarily in the play style, but like Jamar Chase was like the last great top 10 receiver since Marvin Harrison Jr., the way people talked about Marvin, and maybe to a lesser extent Malik Neighbors. So I look at what Jamar Chase did, taking the Bengals to the Super Bowl, winning a national championship, and I watched him last night play, and I'm like, he just plays with so much confidence and aura, and he and Joe Burrow are just so much in sync with each other. And the Cardinals, it looks nothing like that. Like outside of the touchdowns, which have been great, like 20-20, man, everything just looks difficult for number 1 to number 18.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because it's not what we envisioned when the Cardinals took Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th overall. You thought it was going to be more in line with that. And, it's not only us that are seeing this play out. I'm sure there's frustrated fantasy owners across the nation are like, what's going on with Marv? There's people who are Buckeye fans that are like, what's going on? We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. dominate for 2 straight seasons for 28 touchdowns, went over 1,400 yards receiving in back-to-back years. I thought this guy was star ready, not just pro ready. And continuing with the signs that it's not going as planned. Bad NFL player, but good NFL analyst, Dan Orlovsky, put out his list of the top 20 quarterback wide receiver duos in the league. And I didn't click on this link, expecting to see Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. where I thought they could be. I expected, did they sneak in, or are they rightfully off of this list right now because of the I guess the productivity or lack thereof that we haven't seen all season long. And I was right. They were omitted from the list. They're not in the top 20 groups, and there are some disgusting duos that are ahead of them. And it's
let me hear some of them. I
no fault of except for on Petzing, Kyler, and Marv. You want to hear? I mean, rightfully so.
I haven't seen this list.
The top duo is the one we were just talking about.
Yeah,
I think it's undeniable. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. It's been great since they reconnected from their college days at LSU when Jamar Chase was a rookie. He went for over 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns his rookie season. Number 2 is the feuding duo, which I think I disagree with. It was Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. But still, the number's undeniable. 14 catches for 836 and 4 touchdowns. Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, that's 375 catches for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. Amon-Ra and Jared Goff, 81 for 892 and 10 tutties. Then you start to see like Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson at 5, CJ Stroud, Nico Collins. This is where you start to get frustrated. Russell Wilson, George Pickens at 7. Undeniably good, but this is a tandem that just started working together, just like Kyler and Marv actually have had less time together than the Cardinals duo. Tua and Tyreek, Jaden and Terry McLaurin, Baker and Mike Evans, Patrick Mahomes and DeAndre Hopkins, who's been in KC for like a second, is 11th on this list. Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey. This is where you should really start to get mad because Marvin Harrison Jr. is 10 times the receiver that Ladd McConkey is, just given as far as God-given ability. He should be, outproducing him, but he's not. 57 catches, 800 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Stafford, Puka, Geno, and JSN, Jordan Love, and Romeo Doubs. I don't think this deserves to be on there. I don't know why it is. It's 15th. This is where you might barf. Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney.
Kirk Cousins, who has his arm's fallen off. He can't even throw the ball anymore.
Kirk Cousins hasn't thrown a touchdown in 4 games. He has 7 interceptions over that time, but he's completed 57 passes for 873 yards, 5 touchdowns. Darnell Mooney.
Congrats, I guess. I'm glad. First of all, I'm happy Marvin and Kyler aren't on this list. I don't want them. I want them omitted off every list, off every ranking, and I want people to be like, why? What's going on with Arizona? And I want things to come back, and I want Drew Petzing and company to feel the heat for it. Like that. That's what I want. Here's what I think is happening. I've conjured up a theory that I think good coaches, the best coaches, will take a player and say, you know what? He may not be the best at one singular thing, but I'm going to put him in a position to be successful with what we do. You look at Nick Rollison. He said, you know what? I'm going to take a guy in Mac Wilson Jr. that's bounced around a couple teams. He's a good athlete, and he's going to come and excel on our defense. And guess what? He's doing that. I'm going to take a couple guys like LJ Collier who are afterthoughts, and I'm going to make them productive, right? I'm going to get the most out of these guys. And I think that's what great coaching does. And then I look at Drew Petzing, and he gets gifted the 4th overall pick with Kyler Murray. And he says, Marvin, you're a number 1 receiver. You're going to play X receiver with no questions asked. You're just going to be our X receiver. And maybe Marv wasn't ready to handle all the responsibilities that come with that. So the minute that you decide for like, hey, we got to change things up, what do smart coaches do? We're going to move them around. We're going to put them underneath. We're going to set up screenplays and end arounds. We're going to get quick passes to them. Instead of, we're going to run the most really kind of difficult route tree possible for an X receiver because that's what should be expected. We have a big enough sample size now that like maybe certainly he wasn't ready for that workload, but that doesn't mean you just let him kind of flail around aimlessly for the rest of the year doing that. These are vital reps, especially now this final month. I put this out on my gross little TikTok that I've started. We're repping PHNX Cardinals with the kids. How do you do, fellow kid? It would behoove Monty Ossenford to go to Jonathan Gannon and say, whatever you do it fast and figure this out, because I don't want the cloud of can Marvin and Kyler play together hovering over the offseason, because right now it will. Get that figured out. Obviously win games, do what you got to do to win games. But if we're sitting here saying, well, I can't do both at the same time, then somebody's ass deserves to get fired. If you can't win these games without Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the same page, we got big, big problems. If I'm Monty Ossenford, I'm protecting my investment and I'm saying, talk to Drew, figure this out. Enough of this demercado on 3rd down. Make it look easy because it's supposed to be easy. You've had too much time, 13 games.
Not where Marvin Harrison Jr. has to draw like an offense. He gets called for an offensive pass interference call because there's such kind of everything, as he said, everything looks just so difficult.
That's coaching.
That he's having to play defend. He's having to defend what's going on. So I agree. Somebody said JV, I'm paraphrasing, is cooking. Absolutely, he's crushing it today. Jalen Hurts is on here twice, so is Tua with 2 different receivers. Josh Allen's on here with clear.
You like that, Drew? Is that what you want to hear, Drew? You want to hear those other names?
What was it that Monty Ossenford said when he took Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th overall? We got an alpha bird.
Let me tell you something. You may hate Kyler Murray, and he gets so much ridicule, and I think a lot of it's undeserved because it's racial or it's his size or whatever. Even the people who hate Kyler Murray cannot deny he can get receivers' numbers. We've seen that his entire career. Christian Kirk and D-Hop, Trey McBride now, he can do that, right? You want to question, is he clutch? Can he win this time of year? There is no reason why he and Marvin Harrison Jr. should not be on the same page. And it goes back to the coaching.
Well, and it's not without precedent that, just as big of prospects, when if you let it linger, it impacts their ability to have successful careers.
No doubt.
It can create, lose confidence and, just go down the wrong track. And you see guys just, not working their first spot and maybe find a career resurgence elsewhere. You got to avoid that. He's too talented to waste it.
I love James Conner. Don't let this new James Conner deal, Drew, blind you to no, your significant investments are also with who you drafted. Like, I love James, but don't be like, well, you just gave James $19 million. Come on.
We all silly like the mayor.